Hey beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. I'm Josie with Awakened Soul, and we're here for a reading all about you, the person on your mind, and your connection to each other. I hope you are having an amazing day or night whenever this reading found you, and I am so glad you are here with us today for this reading. In today's reading, we are going to be talking about the changes that are going to happen in the near future within you, within your person, and within the connection itself. So this is a future-centered reading. Over here on the left, it was my intention that this would be you. Over here on the right, it was my intention this would be your person. And then the very center card is the mutual changes, essentially impacting the connection that both of you are going through. And I'll explain more as we go along in the reading here. This is the first spread. I pre-pull to save us a little bit of time because sometimes it takes a little while to get the cards to come out. When we are done with this first spread, I am going to dive even deeper using the tarot. And then afterwards, we will pull a few channeled messages to see what your person will want to say to you during this time, or maybe some things they're actually going to say to you during this time of change. And then lastly, towards the end of the reading, I will close it off with a message from universe just for you and whatever you are needing to hear the most. Now, I'm not going to be doing an extended for today's reading unless I specifically feel called to mid-reading. However, for at least a third of my readings or so, at least my pop-up readings, I do offer extendeds. So if that is something that is of interest to you, you're welcome to check out my Patreon. And I also have other exclusive readings with my YouTube membership. So if you end up resonating with this reading and you really like my style or styles, I invite you to take a look at the description box down below to see if anything else calls out to you. But without further ado, we're going to hop into the reading here today. I would like to get started with your person, and then we're going to talk about you. Now, the last tidbit of information I'm going to get out for you is if you feel like things seem flip-flopped, or if your gut is telling you that this is going to be you and this is going to be your person, that is also okay. At the end of the day, this is a collective reading, and it's also entirely up to you to listen to your own intuition with how things are resonating and to take the messages only if, when, and how they resonate with you, your life, and the situation. So let's get to it. Now, your person and the changes they are going to be undergoing soon is being represented by the thread, breath, and chaos. And I find it so very interesting that your person is being represented with breath and chaos as their alchemy cards. And then, the thread is kind of like connecting these two energies together in some sort of way. These in a way are kind of opposite, right? Chaos is sort of the opposite of peace and tranquility. I can't think of two more opposite things, if I'm being honest with you, at least in this context. So your person is essentially going to be going through a very, very turbulent time in the near future. And I am feeling called for some of you out there, your person is already in the works of this, and maybe this reading found you during this time when it's already started for them. And if that's the case, this is confirmation that that's going to continue for a while longer, and this is part of the change that they're going to be undergoing for some time. I think a lot of this is internal chaos, and your person is going through a lot of new ways of thinking, new ways of being, maybe new belief systems. It could also just be like stressors that are happening in your person's day-to-day life at work or in friendships or other relationships, possibly even with their connection or relationship to you. They're kind of bouncing back and forth and hanging by a thread between moments of peace, bliss, and calmness and utter chaos, basically. And there's not much middle ground for your person. And so during this time of change for them, I think that it's just, I feel like I'm starting to feel pressure a little bit in my energetic state as I'm reading for you right now. I feel like they're just going to be very much on edge because they keep kind of ping-ponging back and forth between literally being full on edge in autopilot mode, full of chaos, very stressed out, to almost absolute peace and tranquility. And it's confusing for your person during this time to be going back and forth so much like that and to not have much neutral or middle ground. It could be that they're going through some sort of an ascension period, and so the energy is just like fluctuating up and down very dramatically for them. I can't say for certain. I do believe that more information will come out in the tarot though. But basically, bottom line, to get us started, I feel like what you need to know about your person and their changes and what is shifting for them involves a lot of ups and downs, and there's not going to be a lot of middle ground for your person. So don't be surprised if their mood seems a little bit chaotic, and other times they feel like they're really chill and in a good mood. There's not going to be much neutral ground for a little while, at least while your person goes through this change. And again, they're kind of hanging by a thread of hope that one day things are going to level out again for them. It's really tough for them during this time to go from like total bliss and peace to utter chaos without much of a moment's notice. Now over here for you, you're being represented with the Tear, the Golden Rose, and Chiron for the changes you're undergoing. Yours is a lot more specific than your person's is. So I'm quite curious to see what's going to come out in the tarot for your person's side. For you, it's a lot more of a specific message. This talks about secrets, and sometimes even secrets that will remain hidden from us. This talks about the transmutation of pain or painful experiences into something better, basically into something that can help you in your future or help other people. As in, if you've been through a difficult time, giving advice to somebody who is now going through a very similar experience, aka channeling that negative energy you once experienced into something that can help other people. And that's further confirmed with the Tear archetype. I think one of the changes you're going to be undergoing is basically involving taking past painful experiences and transmuting them into something light, something that's no longer impacting you in a negative way, and maybe even using those experiences to help this person or other people out, essentially channeling that energy into something positive. So let's say, for example, you have been through a really difficult breakup in the past, and that's caused you some deep sadness. I see you kind of getting to the core of those issues or what those emotions were, really letting them out, really understanding the lessons you can learn from that experience, and then maybe helping a good friend of yours out who happens to also be going through a similar situation. Maybe they are currently having a difficult time letting go of an ex or something like that, and you are kind of going to be taking that past information and doing your best to be supportive and helpful to that person during their time. And again, it doesn't have to be that exact example. That was just the example that came to mind. Basically, you're taking what once was bothersome to you, you're doing some inner work, diving into that, and then transmuting that and helping other people. So that's one of the changes you are going to go through. I think that it might directly impact this person as well. You might be like a lending ear to this person or somebody that they're confiding in during this difficult time, especially if you have been through that as well. You're going to be very supportive and you're really going to be focused on your own growth during this next chapter as your main change is you're growth driven, and not only that, but you want to help other people through their stuff as well. Now, very interesting that you got the Deer as the mutual energies and changes that both of you are going through. Number 3 could be significant, by the way. We could be talking about March or the third of a specific month being important. Maybe you or your person are life path number 3s, or you and your person might even both be seeing repeating 3s as an angel number synchronicity. So just maybe pay attention to that because it could be significant going forward, or that's something to keep an eye open for. The Deer says, be gentle with yourself and others. And it's very interesting that that came out as your mutual energy that both of you are going to be changing and going through and experiencing going forward. Because it's quite obvious why that came out for you. Maybe that's a big lesson your person is learning as well, is how to actually be gentle with themselves, especially during this time where their mood seems to be very up and down. They're fluctuating between moments of total bliss to total chaos. And I really think that they're learning how to be patient with other people and themselves during that process, and so are you. It seems like you are taking on more of a supportive role based on things you've already experienced and gone through, and your person is kind of going through it in a way, maybe for the first time, and they're learning for the first time how to actually manage it and be more patient with themselves and other people while they're kind of in the thick of it, I guess you could say. Your past experiences seem to be like transmuting. This is like a current experience for them, if that makes sense. So what I would like to do next is hop straight into the tarot, where we're going to talk about this in more detail. So similarly, I'm going to pull a few cards for you over here on the left and a few cards for your person over here on the right, and possibly a couple of middle joining cards as well. We'll see how things go. I'm leaving that one open-ended. So let's get started with you first. Let's talk about the changes you are undergoing in this connection, please, spiritual team. Okay, so we have the Star coming out for you first. Okay, wow. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Honestly, that's like exactly what we've been talking about already. The Star and the Nine of Wands. To me, the Nine of Wands is a card of self-reflection. It's looking back on past experiences, sometimes with regret, sometimes with learned knowledge, but always with the understanding that you're getting ready to move forward. The Star is refreshment. It's healing. It's nourishment. It's a new beginning. Okay? And then we lastly here have the Page of Swords. I feel like that summarizes like to a T everything we've already been talking about. Your healing, the main change you're undergoing in this connection is healing from past experiences. You're doing a lot of self-reflecting. You're looking back on maybe past relationships or past life experiences you've had, and you're applying that past knowledge into lessons you can learn today, or during the time, I guess you could say, and how to make a better future for yourself going forward and with this person in this connection. So it could be that maybe you will be noticing patterns that you've already been through in past relationships start to surface in this connection, and instead of, continuing that cycle and repeating those patterns with your person, you're looking back on things you could have done different in those past connections, and you're applying that healing today so that the future with this person doesn't have to look the same as it has in past connections. I hope that makes sense. And you're being quite vocal about that. Maybe with this person, maybe with other people in your life. You're being very vocal and expressive about past learned stuff and what you want to be different this time around. Now let's check in on your person. Talk to me a little bit more about the changes they are going to be going through. Okay, and then we had a few cards fall. I have to reshuffle, so hold up a second. Talk to me about the changes this person is going through. Yeah, I'm not surprised. The changes this person is going to be going through. Okay. So we have the Page of Cups, the Eight of Swords, and the Ace of Cups coming out for them. What I'm seeing that your person is going to be undergoing is basically they're feeling very stuck and trapped, right? And they're also feeling incredibly remorseful for how that energy is impacting you. I feel like you might be getting a lot of apologies from this person. I'm getting the word remorse. Like the word remorse keeps coming through over and over again, and I'm not quite sure why. In fact, I'm going to pull a few additional cards because I feel like I need to dive deeper into this energy. this person really wants to begin again, but they're going through this internal struggle that's forcing them out of their comfort zone and into like two completely opposing energies. And I feel like this is shifting on like a continuous basis, like moment to moment. Your person will be feeling totally fine, totally stable, and then totally good. And then the next moment, they're like restless, they're uncomfortable, they're unsettled, they're wanting things to change, they're feeling stuck. And I think a lot of this is self-limitations. Like I'm getting a lot of self-limiting beliefs that your person has been struggling with for a while are starting to get broken down. Your person might be going through a bit of an ego breakdown as they're changed. That's kind of what I'm seeing here for them, where their whole life as they knew it before is changing and their view of reality is really shifting in a lot of ways. And part of them is really wanting to embrace a new beginning in love with you and in life in general. The other part of them is wanting to still stay stuck in their past behaviors and patterns and mindsets and beliefs. And so they're resisting that. And that could be why moment to moment, 1 second they're feeling blissful, happy, joyous, peaceful, and the next moment they feel like all the chaos is creeping in again. Because there's not much middle ground. They're feeling this change coming on, but they don't really know what to do with the shifting energies. Okay? So let's see how this is going to impact your connection. That's what I want to do next. Well, how is this going to impact your connection to each other? Give me a moment here. How is this going to impact the connection, spiritual team? We have the 5 of Wands that fell away pretty quickly. Okay. Let me get a couple more cards out. How is this going to impact the connection? Okay, so I do think that there's going to be some conflict between you and your person, at least for a period of time. Probably because both of you are going through your own internal struggles. Your person seems to be resisting it a little bit more than you are. You're taking more of a proactive stance on it, whereas your person seems to be fighting it and fighting the changes a little bit. And so I'm being honest with you right now. I feel like there is going to be a little bit of chaos between you and your person for a period of time. There might be more disagreements, or the two of you just might not see eye to eye, or there could be like even communication difficulties between the two of you. Other parties might even be getting into the mix. I'm not saying romantic third parties. I don't see that being the case for the two of you, but it could even be that like friends and family members are going to start meddling in your business or trying to intervene or interfere with this connection, because they see changes occurring for both you and your person, and maybe they feel obligated to step in and intervene or something like that. But there is a but. After you work through that stuff, I'm seeing you and your person coming back into harmony and equilibrium with each other. There's going to be more of a balanced give and take between the two of you, and there is an opportunity for a fresh start of this connection in some way. I'm not saying you and your person are going to be like going through a full-blown separation period, although you could be. But regardless of where the two of you are at when you get to this stage, it's going to feel like a new beginning with each other. And the two of you are going to feel like you can honestly communicate a lot better with one another. Probably because you've worked on learning how to truly communicate with yourself and understand your own experience. You're able to freely speak about that with each other. So the communication is definitely going to be increasing, and a second chance of some sorts or a new beginning is being presented and offered to both of you by each other. It's like both of you are kind of like taking your hearts and offering them back over to one another to try again. Excuse me, you guys. I felt that cough coming on, and I'm not sick. So I don't know exactly what's up with that, but I felt it coming on for a minute there. I had to get it out. Maybe some of you are just not very vocal with your person right now, or your person isn't. And I think that's probably the biggest change the two of you are going through, is learning how to actually talk to one another and be vocal about what's going on internally instead of keeping it inside. Now let's see what your person is going to say to you during this time. or what they're going to want to say to you during this time. Okay? I don't know what you want. There's that confusion, and I feel like more or less that's them projecting on themselves. Like they don't know what they want. They don't know what's going on within them. Okay? I find you so attractive. I'm waiting patiently. Yeah, I do think that your person's going through, like, I think that they just kind of want it to be over with. Like, they want to just feel, like, stabilized again. Actually, I don't know if I can really show that, so hold on. They feel tension between the two of you. I'm just going to leave it at that. Maybe you just need to know that they feel tension. I definitely see that that could be the case because there's a lot of, like, very staticky energy going on during this time. I'm going to be honest with you. This isn't a very lighthearted next chapter between you and your person. There's a lot of growth, and growth often comes with discomforts. I don't know how to feel. I wish we could go back. I do think your person kind of like misses the easier days between the two of you because maybe they weren't ready for this level of growth to happen just yet, and it's intense for them. They don't know how to feel. Yeah, they're confused about their feelings for sure. Because one minute they're feeling like totally peaceful, blissful, happy, calm. And then the next minute it's like total internal chaos. And your person just really wishes things would kind of stabilize. I'm not moving this forward until I've healed. I think they will get to the point where they're going to recognize that they have some work they need to do on themselves because they can see that it's impacting you, that their mood is fluctuating so much. I think about you a lot, especially at night. Everything reminds me of you and you mean the world to me. So your person, again, is going to be all over the place during this, but I think they're growing through that process. Let me get out some tiles and charms now. This is meant to be for bonus insight and information. So you might see their name or their initials or yours, or maybe some important words or symbols for the connection. I invite you to pause the video if you need to. Take your time to see what comes out for you if you like. That was way more than I planned on, and I knew it as I was grabbing it, but that is a-okay. All right. So I'm seeing O-I-T-P-Y J P and H. Hop. I'm seeing the word hop or top. Pit. I don't know. That's all I'm really seeing. Oh yeah, we also have trying to see what this is. I think it's an O and an F as well. So you're welcome to see what words you can get out here if you'd like to take a moment to do that. We also have a seashell with a pearl in it. Pearls could be important symbols. I also just heard Pearl Jam. Maybe that's somebody's favorite band. This could also be an offering. So I think, and actually pearls are a beautiful symbol for what it seems like both you and your person are going through during this time of change, because pearls are formed from an irritant, right? Pearls are absolutely gorgeous. They're beautiful, but they're symbols of how to grow through grit and irritation, basically. So I do think that it might be kind of like a turbulent time for you and your person in this connection during this next phase, but the growth that comes from that irritation is going to be beautiful when you get out from the other side, if that makes sense. We also have the blue circle here, which I take as like a throat chakra energy paired with the energy of cycles coming to a close. So right now, you and your person might be struggling with being vocal with one another. That is one main thing that's going to shift from this connection in the future. You're going to have better communication. We also have a whale. That could be important symbols to this connection. It's a pink whale as well. I don't know if that means something to someone or not. And a lighthouse. Somebody could live near a lighthouse, and this could also be a symbol for like lighting through the darkness, okay? Because it seems like This next chapter is going to be a tough one for you and your person, but there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. You're going to be able to still find the light and find the goodness even during maybe a difficult time with each other. And then we have a kitty charm. So cats could be important. Cats are also very intuitive. So I take that as strong intuitive communication coming through for both you and your person. Okay. So next, what I'm going to do is get you out a personal message from universe. It doesn't have to relate to this connection at all, although it could. This is meant to be just for you to remember to bring your energy back towards yourself again, and bring that focus back on you. Although I do have to note that we just had a whale charm and information about communication coming out, and you literally got the whale with communication. You are encouraged to communicate clearly from your heart, bridge any gaps that are keeping you from connecting deeper with your loved ones. It is important to speak your truth with emotion, vulnerability, and power. So one of the changes you're probably going through is how to actually communicate about your feelings. And that came through pretty strong, especially in the beginning of the reading. You're getting better at learning from past experiences and being vocal about that. Being vocal about how people make you feel, what you are feeling in the moment. And you're doing it with authority and power. You're not doing it to try to get a reaction out of someone else. You're doing it just because you feel like that's what you need to do. And then your affirmation of the day, I invite you to affirm with me if you like. You can do so by commenting it down below. It is, today I am loved. Today I will know in my heart that I deserve love and respect. And yes, you do. I'm going to leave this reading here. If it resonated, I would love it if you would like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so very much for joining. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day or night. And until next time, bye for now.